So a day in the life of a general contractor. Unless you are a general contractor, you have absolutely no clue all the hats that we have to wear day in and day out. My days start at 4 a.m. Alarm goes off. I wake up 4 o'clock. Yes, it's early, and yes, it sucks. So don't think that I love waking up at 4 a.m. because I don't. But it's what's required, right? And that's what we do. It's about getting results, and it's about doing what's required to achieve, goals and milestones that are set in place. And the only way to get there is by doing what's necessary. The normal morning routine, get into the office 4:30, 5 a.m. And that's really when it kicks off. Most contractors are early birds, and the good ones are doing the same thing. So I know that by 5 a.m., if I don't have emails or phone calls coming in, I know I could send them and get some responses because those guys are at it too. Our schedule is usually lined out, but it's making sure that the day is still going to go as scheduled. Let's say job schedule, for example. Whatever is in that schedule, are we still on track to continue that work, or do we have to pivot and adjust because something yesterday didn't go as planned? So, I would say between 5 and 6:30, that's making sure that setting up the day that it's going to run as we wanted it to. And if not, let's pivot and adjust so that when guys are on site, they can continue forward and try to get us back on track. And by 6:30, I'm back out in the field. I've left the office. I'm making my rounds, checking on jobs, meeting with other contractors, seeing where we're at on things. And that usually goes till about 10 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, I'm back in the office, checking emails, updating things, checking billing, checking money coming in, money going out, seeing where the finances are, because I really do try to track that daily. It's just to monitor, I guess would be the better word, is a daily monitoring of that and making sure that there's no surprises. And then after all that's done, usually most of the time there's a pre-bid walk, meaning there's a public bid that is going out, and you go to that meeting typically 2 to 3 weeks before the job actually bids. You go and walk the job, get the details on site, field verified, everything, and then get back to the drawing board and get ready to actually bid that job. And in between that is, meals, phone calls. It's challenging to stick with a schedule day to day. It definitely keeps the day jam-packed. It keeps it full. There's always some action going on, never a dull moment. But, with all of that, I really do try to stick to a schedule and not be pulled 30 different directions, because then nothing meaningful gets achieved. So I try to only have the bigger items, the bigger issues, for me, that I need to address quickly, solve, and then move on. But yeah, other than that, I try to stick with a schedule. That way I could get done the most items, the most tasks in the day that are pressing, and focus on what's going to move the business forward. So that's kind of a bird's eye view of the day. There's a lot more in between there, but that gives you a good idea of what we deal with on a day-to-day basis. And that usually goes for 12 hours a day. All right, let's talk about the residential homeowner and pricing. This is a real life, recent event. In fact, a while back we did a short video on, I think it was one window, one kitchen window we were installing, and you know, it was the cost of it, and wow, it's only one window, etc. Anyway, we did the job, knocked it out of the park, easy deal. But I wanted to get to is part of that, there was also a patio slider involved in there. And we didn't get that portion of the work because we were $1,000 or $1,200 more than the next guy. And folks, this is probably 3 months ago. Homeowner calls me back a couple weeks ago for something else that she wanted to do. So I met with her and went over the new cabinets and everything that she wanted. And I'm walking with her, walking out of the house. I look to my right and I see that patio slider has duct tape basically all around it. And I asked, hey, what's going on with the new slider? Well, the contractor she went with ordered the wrong slider for her house, still installed it, and if that slider isn't taped in, it's so far undersized, it will literally just fall out. So they have it taped in there. Again, this was months ago. They still have not came back to fix it, which they probably never will at this point. I really feel bad for her and her husband. And I told her, or I asked her, was that worth the $1,000 to $1,200 difference between us and them? Because she's experienced it with us, right? We sign the agreement, we order the material, we schedule a day for demo and install. And that's exactly what we did on the other part. So she's gone through it with us, she's experienced it, she knows how we operate. Well, on the flip side, she's also experienced it with somebody else. And now she has a patio slider that is not usable. I nicely talked to her about it, and I still offered, you know, was it worth it going with the cheaper guy? That's an obvious no. I offered our services if she wanted to, you know, get the slider fixed, but she is remaining hopeful that they're going to come back and make it right for her. And as of this morning, they have not. So here we are months later, and they still don't have a functional patio slider. So that brings me to today's little estimate that we gave her, and she's still, you know, getting the 3 bids like most do, which all that gives you is, you know, labor and materials. But she said, wow, Ronnie, you guys are twice the price than the other guy. So we went through, right? And I said, well, I said, how did that work out the last time that you chose price over the contractor? And that was a quick reflection. And I wouldn't be surprised if she looked at the slider while we're on the phone. But I said, just keep that in mind. And, you know, when you're making your decision, yes, we're twice the price, but you already know what you get with us. So stay tuned on that one. I expect that she'll be calling to install those new cabinets for her, but we will see. Stay tuned. Hey guys, if you got value out of this content, if you learned something, if you thought about something you didn't before, please like and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate it. Thank you. So 2 weeks ago, we had bid a remodel at a preschool here locally, and we won low bid. So excited about that. And that job, 1.3 million, good profit margin in it. That was going to take us through as our really primary job, taking us through Q4, finishing up at the beginning of the year. And we were going to be in a pretty comfortable place just with that job, not even counting all the new work we would go after. So we waited 2 weeks on that job, followed up with the architect on, you know, when we could expect the notice to proceed to come out. And later that day, the owner chimed in and said, due to being over budget, all bids were rejected and they would not be moving forward with that project. So that was upsetting. I mean, we were counting on that 1.3 million, carry part of the load for, it was a 75-day project, and be in a more comfortable place, right? It's always nice when you have those jobs under contract, you know the work's there, and you can bill out as you get through it. So anyway, I wouldn't call it we lost a job because we did win the bid, but it doesn't count because we didn't get a contract out of it. Therefore, job's not moving forward. We got to go find some more. Let's go.